Hello, this is Distracted Lord, and welcome back to the Unknown Empire. And here in the base, with all the fancy new stuff we made last episode, and I added some trapdoors here, so these guys can't come out and wander around the base, which just means that they're now going to stay in Nether Portal because they can't technically leave, which means they can't go back in again. You know what, I should probably move this one block further forward. Okay, that went through the portal. But in more exciting news, there's something going on here, because there's a new building out here where the farm used to be, and it has another tower on it because towers are cool. But if we go back through here, we can now go through this door, and this door, instead of going outside, goes into a sheep farm. And there's this level, and then there's this level down here, and this is what's being produced. We have all the colours of wool, because gotta have all of the tons of wool, which will probably be very useful when 1.19 comes along and we have to raid the Deep Dark, because wool is very useful for that. These shears, I put a couple of shears in each of them. It should take them like a really long time, because yeah, they've got tons of durability. You can also just see some funny white block here, because I did some more stuff, and you can see it out here. I forgot that this window could look out this way, but yes, we are directly above it here. We can also look at it better from down here, because there is now this little fish tank here. So it's not a fish tank and it's not little, it's just full of axolotls. There is currently 4 of them, being the 4 common colours. So obviously I want to get a blue one in here so that we can have one of each colour, but blue ones are stupidly rare. So if anyone on the server happens to have a blue one, or ever finds a blue one, I would very much like it, please, just to complete my axolotl collection. But I moved the pink one from the tiny little awful box there into now this much nicer one with some grass and some sea pickles and glass, so that they can see out over the hillside, which is very great views. Also, if we go out here, Min has started on something else. There's now another greenhouse over there, and the tree farm has been moved around the corner a bit. But I was thinking earlier that there's something we can do over here, and that involves basically not doing that much, because this area here, I think it would be kind of cool if we just left this area sort of from the edge of the house, going around the edge of the greenhouses, as a sort of not exactly like a courtyard, because that's surrounded, but like a sort of yard where we have all the greenhouses come off it, and there's all the things next to it, and from this place we can get to everything, except we can also get to things underground. But I thought it'd be kind of cool if we had like this main area empty and we just put buildings around it. And one building that I wanted to put next to it, which will probably, I guess there's kind of room over here, sort of make it a bit of a odd shape. I could probably fit something in over here, but I wanted to build a bee farm, because bees are cool. So actually I guess I could have it in, if I just go into third person so we can get a higher view, I could have it in sort of two chunks, because obviously bee farms you normally have honeycomb and beeswax. So if I have like 2 greenhouses, one that's like sort of going from the edge of the house nearly to over here, and then another one goes from over here to over this way, because it's a sort of odd area, it's almost a diagonal that I'm working with here, and buildings on diagonals never works for me, so I can just build 2. And what I'm thinking is, if they're sort of quite tall and thin-ish, not like ridiculously thin, but fairly tall and thin, taller and thinner than these greenhouses, then I can have like the bees can go up and down and have somewhere to fly around, and then we can harvest all of their honey and beeswax. I could just like go underground and just make some tiny, really efficient farm, but I want to be able to see the bees, so I want to have a greenhouse with lots of glass so that I can see the bees flying around inside, inside their greenhouses, because I think that would be a nice addition, because we've got farms going on in that one over there. I have no idea what Min's planning to do with this one, and then we have the bamboo growing here, and we have the trees over there. So I think it'd be nice to have some little animals that are flying around in a little greenhouse. But that of course means I need glass, and then I need all the other resources for the actual bee farm itself. So I better start collecting things, and then I can start building things, and I don't even know how to build a bee farm. I should probably have thought about this before I decided to go and make it. So I just realised that to make a bee farm I'm going to need to silk touch some hives, and I don't have a silk touch pickaxe. I have an iron pickaxe. To be specific, it's iron pickaxe number 21. But this is not going to work. So I think that before I actually build the farm, I might go down to Ozone's place, because Min said that there's a whole like villager stuff where we can get pretty good armor from villagers and books and things. So I'm gonna do that first, so that I can get some better tools and armor, so that I can actually make the farm properly without just having to like borrow someone else's silk touch pickaxe, or use this random silk touch golden hoe that I've been using recently. So this is the trading hall. It's just off the edge of the map, and while this place isn't small, it's not got all of the librarian villagers, which means that I can't make full maxed out sets of things. There are not that guy. There are some of these people who sell some mediocre stuff, but like it's got like unbreaking 2 and like falling 2 and things, and well, that just means that it costs a ton of XP to actually upgrade that to max. So I'll probably wait to make armor until this place has all of the books, and then I can do it efficiently rather than having to spend 20 hours just grinding a mob grinder to get the XP. But well, I have 48 levels lying around, so hopefully that's enough to make one pickaxe. Now there is actually mending efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, and silk touch, which means that I can actually make a good pickaxe. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I've also brought some books with me. Oh, I brought enough emeralds to buy it at a normal price, but because I've traded so much paper to get emeralds, they're giving me discounts. That is nice. This is the distracted pickaxe. The first. I'll probably make this the fortune one called the second, and if I make spares they'll be third, fourth, fifth, etc. But this is the random iceberg pathway that goes over to Ozone's base, because this isn't actually at Ozone's base. No, come back here. It's like that's off the edge of the map, but Ozone has a base on the actual map itself. But yeah, this is Ozone's actual. Ozone just looked on. Yeah, Ozone has a nice base. He has a mob grinder somewhere underneath it. So after spending too long trying to work out how to make a bee farm, I've decided that putting a bee farm in a greenhouse isn't really going to work, because the problem is that when you try and get the honey and the beeswax out of the beehives, it sort of just goes flying out the side of it, and it's so unpredictable in where it goes. The only functional bee farms are just compact without much freedom for the bees, which is kind of sad. We're not going to be able to see bees flying around, but it doesn't work if you try and make it that the bees can fly around. It just becomes a whole nightmare to collect the items, and yeah, I don't want to have a really unreliable farm sitting around that's just occasionally throwing items around and causing lots of lag. So I'm going to build something instead. I'm not sure what it is, but I might just build the greenhouses first and then see what I can fit in them, because that's always a great way to do things. Yes, build the bit that looks nice and then have to destroy half of it because you actually needed something else there. Yes, I will not learn. So I built some greenhouses, and apparently I forgot to record something saying, hey look, I built the greenhouses. I don't know why, apparently I forgot to do that. I've now done some work on the greenhouses, and there is now actual greenhouse stuff in here. There's some plants on some sort of shelves, and I put some beehives in here just so that we can see something. If I want to build a serious bee farm, I can, but underneath, you can't actually see it, but underneath the puzzle block there is a campfire, which somehow weirdly Minecraft counts as this being pacified. So if I want to, I can collect honey from these, and that's kind of cool. They do serve a bit of function. They also look nice, and I put one of those up there because I love those things and I put them everywhere. There also happens to be a couple of skeleton horses around. I walked out of the house and immediately got shot by a skeleton on a skeleton horse. Of course there were 4 more, so I went and just got rid of the skeletons, and I think there was a horse down the hill somewhere. I don't think they despawn, so they will just hang around until someone does something with them. Oh, I just heard the sugarcane farm go off. Anyway, there's a few skeleton horses wandering around somewhere. I should probably just get a lead and just tie them up somewhere just in case we want them. They could be useful. I think we have a saddle somewhere. You may have also noticed that the building that I built has gone, and it's not a case of all of my hard work undone, because I just took the top layer and put it underneath where the bottom layer was. Now this is still where it was, this layer. I've just moved the other one down to beneath it, and so this is even lower down than it was before, because Min wanted to use the area above, and I can shove this underground fairly easily. It doesn't need daylight at all. I rounded up the skeleton horses and found another horse along the way, which I have tamed, except we don't have a saddle, so I can't actually ride it around. But that is going to be it for this video. It doesn't seem like I've done all that much stuff, but there's been some behind the scenes stuff. I've collected some resources. We now have many stacks of sand. Well, not sand, glass, because we always need more glass to build things like this. So I've got myself my fancy shovel to do that. So there's been a bit of that stuff, but we now have 2 more greenhouses with some flowers in them and some bees, which are currently being rather confused by an azalea bush. Spin. Okay, that's a bit too close. Spin. Yes. That's gonna be it of the video. So thank you for watching. Don't get distracted. Go subscribe now. And just as I was about to say goodbye, it disappears. Fine, I'll go stare at it differently. Thanks for watching. Don't get distracted. Go subscribe now. And until next time, goodbye.